This is Law of Attraction Explored. I'm Tim Grimes. Some of you are probably wondering about my coaching, so I thought I would just take a minute to explain what it is that I offer. What I do with people is get real deep. And what do I mean by we get deep? Well, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know exactly what I mean when I say that. The kind of coaching that I offer is meant to transform your life. And I feel very confident that it will transform your life and that you'll enjoy doing it. And if you don't, to be frank, you don't have to pay me. I like working with people who want to go deep, people who are willing to explore what's going on the inside and realize that there's nothing wrong with them and that what is going on the inside is actually good. And dare we say it, what's going on the inside is actually God. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can always email me at info@radicalcounselor.com, or you can just go to my website, radicalcounselor.com. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. So in this show, we obviously are discussing various approaches to changing our mind, changing our thinking, changing our imagination, and changing what we suggest to ourselves. And in my opinion, all of those things are pretty much the same. I've been discussing recently on YouTube in quite a few videos that thinking, imagination, subconscious, unconscious, these are all pretty much synonymous terms, the way that we are using them. And as I often say, we never want to get too stuck on certain terminology, too obsessed with certain terminology when it comes to law of attraction concepts. This is such a subjective, individual experience. And when somebody says imagination, it's going to mean something different than when someone else says it. And even words that seem to be opposing each other, diametrically opposed. Like, for instance, Coué uses the term imagination as an opposite of willpower, essentially. Even that you can't get too tied up in, because other people use willpower in a very creative way when they use that term. Like Lester Levinson, for instance, he says you can will your way to freedom. That's just another way of describing a lot of what Coué is describing when he talks about your imagination and how to utilize your willpower or not utilize your willpower in relation to it. And, this also goes for terms that a lot of people would regard as being more masculine or feminine. We are definitely not going to have a gender discussion here. And when I hear about masculine and feminine energies, a lot of the points make total sense to me. But I think that we are too prone to tie certain terms like masculinity or femininity or feminine energy or masculine energy. We're too quick to ascribe, certain conditions to that or to certain things we're doing. I think, using masculine or feminine energy, these terms too literally is stupid, quite frankly, but I see the point of what they're getting at. And today I wanted to mention something that I definitely think people are going to say would be like, strong masculine energy, like alpha male type energy. That basically involves, really asserting force. Asserting, most people would say asserting your willpower, but us being familiar with Coué, being familiar with these ideas of how strongly the imagination overwhelms everything, we might say that it's really not asserting your willpower as much as it is asserting your imagination. Regardless of, what term you want to use, I want to talk about a very direct approach to better working with your imagination. Working with your mind, working with your thinking, working with your self-suggestion. And that's brought to us by Jocko Willink, who is a very famous retired Navy SEAL. He has a podcast and books. And when it comes to assertion and really just asserting something, Jocko and people with his kind of, one could say, very alpha mindset can be wonderful teachers to learn from. Because if you're a Navy SEAL, you know how to get things done. And if I want to learn how to get things done on a practical external level, quite honestly, I'm probably more likely to trust the advice of somebody like Jocko than somebody who is spouting esoteric New Age advice. As much as I love esoteric New Age advice, and as much as I probably relate more to the sensibility of the person spouting that esoteric New Age advice, if I actually want to get outer results or change my mind effectively and quickly, I'd often probably be better off to listen to somebody like Jocko. And so today, to give you this very, one could say, masculine perspective on changing your mind, changing your thinking, changing your self-suggestion, changing your imagination, I thought I would read this chapter from his book, Discipline Equals Freedom. It's a very short chapter and a great chapter. It's called Mind Control. And Jocko writes, when people think of the words mind control, they think of people controlling the minds of other people. Not me. I think about controlling my own mind. Sure, we are physical beings, and we must obviously embrace our physicality, but we are our minds. And I'm not going to go philosophical on what that means and where the you actually is, whether it is a soul or your brain or your heart or some other conjured up place. What I do know is this: you, your mind, the thing that is reading and comprehending these words right now, that is you, and you can control it. You are the machine, and you can control it. People ask me, how do I get tougher? Be tougher. How can I wake up early in the morning? Wake up early. How can I work out consistently every day? Work out consistently every day. How can I stop eating sugar? Stop eating sugar. You can even control your emotions. How can I stop missing that girl or guy or whoever broke up with me? Stop missing them. You have control over your mind. You just have to assert it. You have to decide that you are going to be in control, that you are going to do what you want to do. Weakness doesn't get a vote. Laziness doesn't get a vote. Sadness doesn't get a vote. Frustration doesn't get a vote. Negativity doesn't get a vote. Your temper doesn't get a vote. So next time you're feeling weak or lazy or soft or emotional, tell those feelings they don't get a vote. You are declaring martial law on your mind. Mind control. Impose what you want on your brain. Discipline, power, positivity, will. And use that mind control to move your life where you want it to be. Stronger, faster, smarter, quicker, friendlier, more helpful, more driven. Don't let your mind control you. Control your mind. And then you can set it free. So that's a wonderful short chapter. And it shows you how much we blither blather about directing and controlling our imagination. And should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? And there's a lot of wisdom in just doing it. Just doing it. People who are very successful in the external world and driven, like Navy SEALs, like successful entrepreneurs, they usually just do it. Their indecision, their doubts, their fear, it doesn't get a vote. They have it like everybody else, but it doesn't get a vote at the end of the day. They just do what they need to do. That's a way to control your mind. And this type of direct assertion is very helpful to remember and to apply, even if you feel like you are not an overly alpha personality. The more we feel comfortable asserting our power, the more easy it usually is to claim that power.